This is the Kentucky Region SCCA timing and scoring trailer, primarily for autocross events. Figure I'll show people a little bit about it and do a little walk around here as I'm wrapping up some work that I've done on it. You'll see back here we've got these stabilizer jacks that we can drop out when we set up on site, so that once we're on our tongue, it's good and solid. It's not going to move around on us too much. We've got these hooks here on the side of the trailer. That's where we can hang audit sheets, grid sheets, whatever other various information. When we spec'd this trailer out, we copied from the what was then the SCCA National Match Tour trailer, and so it's an 8.5 by 20. It's a Bravo. Some of the things were great. Some of the things we tweaked. Some of the things hindsight wish we'd have tweaked. So up there in the top right corner, that is 120 volts outlet, and is basically useless, although not as useless as the one in the middle. If I had it to do over again, probably would have at least deleted the one in the middle. There's also one at the front corner there. That one comes in handy a lot. We use it to charge our battery, which we keep in the tongue box for running our 12-volt accessories. The second little box up there, that's got a phono jack for our PA speakers and a 12-volt power source for our display, for our timing display. And you'll see right here these two little hooks I made a long time ago for our old trailer, actually, and carried them over to hang our display off of. Next to that, you'll see the little bracket. That is something I just did. I used a dish antenna mount in order to create a mount for our FM transmitting antenna. The box next to that is our BNC through bulkhead fitting or whatever, so that our FM transmission can be hooked to our antenna mast that'll plug in there. There are no graphics on our trailer. This trailer is like 10 years old. It's something that I've always kind of wanted to do, never actually did. But there are a few stickers there thanking some people who really helped make this possible. You know, when we got this trailer 10 years ago, it was a big push. It was a lot of money for our club to be able to do it, and we couldn't have done it without the folks that are named on there. So even though we haven't had dealings with a lot of those folks in a lot of years, they were instrumental in making it happen. Trailer Sport, obviously, that's where we ordered the trailer. So our FM antenna that goes in there, that stores right here. So there's the, oh, get it out. You can see the entire length of it there. So that just goes in with a couple of pins. You see the pins are stored in the bottom of it there. Oh, that one's trying to walk on me. There we go. So that just pins into place, and then BNC connection to that box up there that I've already pointed out. So making my way around the trailer here. Obviously we have our big concession windows. I've tinted the windows except for that one pane of glass. I ran out of window tint and have not painted it. We do have a level here so that when we park it for long-term storage, we can make sure it's got an angle to it so it doesn't drain back. We did have a little roof leak issue at some point. Again, this is 110, and we use that outlet to charge our shore power battery, or 12-volt battery, whatever. This is our hookup, our 30-amp hookup goes to our generator. Oh, did I not unlock that? I thought I unlocked it. Okay, I grabbed the key out of my pocket. So the tongue jack, by the way, that's something that we just replaced last year. The original died on us. This replacement is a much more powerful unit. I'm kind of surprised, honestly, at how much easier it is to operate. It doesn't sound like it's straining as much, and then the manual crank for it requires a lot less effort than the other one did. When it died, I had to manually crank it, and it was a bear. And then when I first hooked it up, I didn't have the power on it yet, so I did it manually, and it went quite well. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. Come on, unlock. There we go. So inside the box there, we got our sway control pieces. There's our hand crank for the winch. That's the cover for it. There's our big cable for our generator. That's a replacement breakaway battery. I need to do that yet. It's just a board for dropping it on. And then we've got a bunch of weights, sandbag weights down there for canopies to keep them from floating away. We got a couple canopies in there. We have a battery charger here that, again, we just string this out, plug it into the side so that we can charge our battery while we're operating and keep our 12 volts going, because 12 volts powers the displays. It also powers our network in there. The 7 round here that goes to the trailer, the way we actually get power from the battery is we have a 7 round receptacle underneath. So we just take that, plug it into there, and then we've got 12 volts going in. There's also some 12 volt interior lights and 12 volt external lights, which you see I removed one of those when I clipped the tree last fall. Up there you'll see our hard mounted antenna for our timing equipment. Again, you know, the concession windows, 120 volt. I said that side sometimes gets used. We were charging the display batteries with that one, but now we're not. But sometimes people will plug up their scooters at an event or something, so it's very accessible, as opposed to those, which are kind of hard to get to. And again, the one in the center, if I had it to do over again, wouldn't be there. It's useless. The door prop on this thing was a joke. It ripped out almost immediately and then repeatedly, so I've made a gusset on the back. It's the full size of the plate, so that hopefully will keep that from becoming another issue. And then up there on that right box, again, you've got the phono jack for our speaker, as well as a 5.5 by 2.1 for our 12 volt for our displays. Another 120 volts back there that, again, doesn't really serve a purpose, but it was just part of the way the package was originally spec'd. And we got some more hooks here, again, where we can hang some things, run work orders, whatever for people. Just right there. She's got a, so there's the stabilizer jack again for this side. We got the door with the flap on it. There's our cone carts. That all ends up in there. We'll talk about that shortly, I guess. So for now, been doing a lot of work, as I mentioned, so the jacks are kind of out of place. The jack stands, they normally set over there. That's our gas can for getting gas for the generator. We keep it here by the door, so it's easy to get to when we need to get gas. And also it kind of helps to sit upright, sitting right there. So that's a convenient spot for that. Obviously we have our big cones here that we can use to kind of mark our area, help people find us. These are our tech cones. We set these out when we're doing tech, so that people can find out where tech is. It's the big yellow cones that say tech. Got my cheat sheets here for my driver's meetings, some sample trophy stuff here from events that we've had. We've got a spare lock hanging there. People come into the trailer looking for often a rag or a towel of some sort, so we have paper towels hung directly above the door. They also come to the trailer looking for blue tape. Blue tape is a very popular item. Obviously when we do tech, we do set it up with the blue tape. We got our first aid also right here inside the door, so it's quickly accessible should we need it. This is the switch for our outside area lights that are 12 volt, switch for our interior lights that are 12 volt, and then this is the fluorescent light here for the back. There is a fluorescent light. You can see the 12 volt light right there. We have the E-tracks here that helps to secure our cone carts when those get in here. I've built these cubbies to hold spare cones. So each of these stacks will hold, I don't know, something like 30 cones. And then this is a stack of 12-inch cones as opposed to the regular 18s that we use. And then we just threw our helmets on top of there. We actually put in these hooks to hang them from before realizing that, hey, you can just toss them on top of the cones, and it's probably an even better way of storing them. So that's where those stay. Down there we've got our flags for our corner workers. You see I've got a clip here. When we put our cone carts in, we stretch these ratchet straps over them, and if you just hook it there, you can actually reach it, because otherwise you push the cone to it, you can't reach over the cone cart to get to it. Up there we've got a menagerie of bungee cords holding in our spare trophy glasses, and then we've got some soft side coolers jammed up in there that we use for our workers. I'll go ahead and just finish talking about the back area here. You'll see we got our canopies here. We did have a bigger one, but it got caught in the wind and did not fare too well. So we've got a couple little cheapies here now. These are our grid cones. These are again 12-inch cones. They're also numbered. Again, in our cavity back here, we've got 3 more stacks of cones. Again, about 30 cones fit in each stack. I don't know how many are actually in there. And then we've got our loaner helmets just shoved on top. Same for here. Below that, you know, this side of the fender, there's kind of a cavity there where we've got props for our concession windows up front, that if you know, it's severe weather, we can actually prop them open and lock them open. We've only had to do that like once or twice, and then it's really sketchy. And there's also a couple of banners rolled up down there, and then otherwise it just allows for pass through for a couple longer things like that antenna to pass through from that lower slot. Have our fire extinguishers shoved in there. There's 6 of them shoved on this shelf. We got 2 more of them right here. Our ladder, it just sort of passively slides in there. It's one of the things I'm rather proud of my engineering on. So once it goes in, the door is closed. You can't get that ladder out, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Obviously there's our measuring wheel for measuring off distances. We have our little spill kit there. One of our previous members engineered this a long time ago with a little hand dolly, and the bucket is attached there, and he's got a little slot on it so you can pull the lever and shake it around and spread the stuff while you're walking. Makes it a little bit easier, kind of a back saver. Obviously our spare tire, we have the big boy jack, which obviously a lot of people will use that for changing their wheels and tires and make it available to people. Same with our jack stands. And then we have our trailer aid should we have the unfortunate circumstance of needing to change a tire on the side of the road. Up top here, we've got our for marking the course, we got, you know, just drywall along with lumber crayons inside of a smaller tote in there. I got a little tote hidden back here that's got just extra straps and bungees and stuff in it. Worker stuff, sunscreen, vests, ponchos, and there's even a handful of umbrellas that people have abandoned and just left behind, so we just throw them in there. If people want to take one, because nobody ever seems to come back and reclaim them. This is our tech box, just a toolbox there. It's got all of our stickers and stuff inside of it for doing the tech, and some tech forms. Again, another soft side cooler shoved up there. Some paper products. We got caution tape, napkins, paper plates, paper cups. If we ever do a thing, it's just sort of thing you always seem to kind of need. These are really just kind of spares at this moment, because I've just kind of finished reorganizing some stuff. This toolbox has been used and reused over the years. You can see where it's been scratched out. At present, it's got just some miscellaneous tools. At some point, we just threw, you know, some side cutters and a couple of wrenches and stuff in there. Some zip ties, spare battery mount, the kind of thing that can, you know, save someone's day sometimes. Hopefully, maybe, but maybe not. And these are just spare cables in here. When I say cables, it's these are really long audio cables and extension cords is what's in this one here, along with yet another of those soft side coolers. Getting around to the back here, this is all kind of passive storage here. Another thing that I'm quite proud of. So yeah, we've got our tables. We've got 3 4x12 or 2x4 folding tables here. These are just some documents for our waiver stuff. We also have the drip pan back there. I sometimes lovingly refer to that as the cam pan for obvious reasons. And we have a TV. We have a 50-inch TV in our trailer. It seldom gets used, but lately it's been coming out for time trial events and social stuff. These are BNC to SMA cables. These are not BNC, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, what is this even called? I don't even know what this end is called. Yeah, this end is SMA. I'm not sure what that end is called, but that's for our Yagi antennas, which are stashed down here behind our displays. So we have our timing displays, 2 of them here slotted in. I got the power cords bundled up for each of them. Each of them has hooks on them, or you know, just carabiners, so you can hang them from the hook on the side of the trailer there. Or this one I've just started. These are actually for putting together sectional sofas, these brackets. And I've got a couple of them mounted up there. So you can just sort of passively slot that guy into place and have a display facing rear. And I've got more on order, so I can put them on the other side of the trailer as well. In here we've got our brooms for cleanup. We got some push brooms, we got some sweeping brooms. We have, again, more umbrellas that people have abandoned with us, so they just get shoved in here. We got a couple of tripods. They can be used for our big speakers, our big PA speakers, or they can be used, we often use one for our sound meter. At one of our sites we have sound restrictions, and so that's a good secure mount for us for that. So that's the back of the trailer. So let's go into the front. Also, this board, if you're wondering why the board is laying there, it goes across the door, because when the cone carts are in here, these little hollow core doors are not made of much, and so that keeps us from destroying it. We've replaced this door a couple times now. The first one was painted. After that, we just kind of gave up on it. All right, this is where the magic happens. This is the timing and scoring room, and I left the cabinet door open, so don't mind me. I'm just gonna go ahead and close that real quick, just so I can open it back up and show you again here shortly. All right, so this is the most recent addition. I just made this cabinet. Originally, the speaker wires for the outside speakers terminated here, and this is where our audio equipment was, because that's the way it was spec'd for the national office trailer, and I decided it didn't make sense for the way that we use the trailer, so I took it out and built this. So we've got a tote down here at the bottom that's just full of clipboards. We have two complete FarmTech timing equipment here, Polaris, FarmTech Polaris systems. Actually, we've got them numbered 1 and 2, so they just slot in there perfectly. Each one is a complete set with spares. Right now, I think number 2 is the system that we've got out and in use. Obviously, this is our printer shelf. We've got a spare ream of paper underneath it. We have the hardwire cable if we need to do that. Otherwise, there is a network connection behind it. It is on a pull-out drawer. It makes it a little easier to monkey with it when it decides that you need to change toner or add paper or whatever. And then, obviously, it gives us a little more space to just slot it back there. Spare batch of toner, because you always run out when you least opportune moment. So yeah, we got our radios up here with our charging racks. We also have, these are 7 amp hour 12 volt batteries for our displays. I figured if we were running for like 8 hours that we would need about 3 amp hours, and so I basically doubled that and found that the 7 amp hour battery is more common than the 6. My math is probably wrong, but that's what I got. And so we again have converted to using the 5.5 by 2.1 connectors on the batteries and on the chargers. These are just little inexpensive chargers shoved in the back corner there. Come on, plug in. It's hard to do with one hand. And then spare AA and 9 volt for running our timing equipment. Well, coat hook here. It's a recent addition also in case somebody needs a place to hang their jacket or backpack or whatever. Upper cabinet here, you can see we have lots and lots of things. We got the minor waivers, wristbands, incident forms, waivers, pens, tickets and stickers, post-its, name tags, weekend membership forms. We have some marketing material up there. Might get a little loud, there's a train behind me. Up there is where our our networking equipment lives. Don't ask me too much about it. I don't know much about it. We got networking tools here. We got our radio mics if people want to use lapel mics or whatever. AC/DC converters. This is just miscellaneous 12 volt stuff if we need to fix something or redo something. These are boxes and covers for those outside outlets. We got our data and Cat5 cable and stuff for any of that needs work. So that's what's in that cabinet. This obviously the generator lives here in between events, but obviously we just wheel it out and plug her in. It's a real nice unit. This is where our auditor normally sits. It's the audit station. Also our treasurer sits there in the morning when we're doing our check-in, and can take payments there. So we've got one drawer there for the audit stuff and one drawer there for the square processing and all that jazz. Up front here we got three seating positions. There are 4 seats shoved there right now, along with 3 drawers that just have spare pens and forms and adapters and all that stuff in it. And you can see we've got just a complete timing equipment sitting there on the countertop. The little SMA right angle adapter is a little tip I picked up from Sandy. We're working in the national timing and scoring trailer to get one of these little guys instead of having that cable just hooped out of there. which the player system is really nice because you can take it out and freehand it if you want to do some testing on the equipment or whatever. So yeah, so our master radio will sit at one end or the other, typically to the right, but if we decide that it works better for a particular course setup, well, that one's turned on. If we decide that we need to flip it, we'll flip it. We have data ports at either side, so we can hook up the laptops in the morning for our check-in, and also we can have the computer operator sitting in either side. The timer operator always just kind of sits in the middle. That's the way that we do it. We've got a little fan there to help move the air. We have a little clock on the wall so that people can put the times on their audit sheets, so that we can do an audit, make a little more sense of it. I just added some acoustic tile to the ceiling. We'll see how that works. It gets a little loud in here sometimes when you have an announcer. That's our striper, which doesn't get used at one site at all, and the other site just seldom. We have some spare garbage cans here. I said it says garbage cans. The green one, it kind of lives in the trailer as a garbage can. The other buckets, they've all got numbers on them, so we can use them for corners, so that when you send someone out to a corner, it's the bucket with the number 2 on it. That's where corner number 2 is. People always have a hard time finding the corners. And you'll notice this is a little long because we used to have full-size garbage cans we kept in here, but now our sites, both of our sites have their own trash barrels, so we just got rid of those. It's unnecessary. And then just a couple extra folding chairs. It does get crowded in here at times. This board is actually just sitting there for now. I'm thinking about creating kind of an extra acoustic backstop for the announcer. This is the announcer stand. This drawer is just miscellaneous leftover hardware, and that's pretty much all that's on the bottom shelf. You can see right there now is just miscellaneous stuff with all the work I've been doing. We keep our speakers down here with the wires bundled up for them. We also have a pair of Go jacks stored. I'm quite proud of those mounts as well. They're also passive. It just sits in there, and those have been here the whole 10 years and have been trouble-free for us. So yeah, so there's our Go jacks. There's our PA speakers. Paper towels again in here. People need a paper towel for something from time to time, and there they are. And then these are just some trophies we've yet to give out. Another hook to hang some things. This is our light switch for our fluorescent light in here. Again, we've got the 12 volt as well, which is controlled by the switch in the back, or it's got a switch on it. And it is nice that we do have the AC in here. That is a big win. Inside the cabinet here, you will see there's where our audio equipment lives now. Everything got jostled a little bit in the most recent move. Need to get some rubber feet for the bottom of our FM transmitter. So that's obviously our PA equipment. Here's the microphone. It's cordless. We have our receiver for our cordless microphone there. That's our FM transmitter, and then there's a Bluetooth receiver there. If we want to Bluetooth some speaker in some audio in the morning, we can run it through that. And there's the paperwork for them, and just miscellaneous connections up top. Other side of the cabinet here. Oh, that one's gonna stick on me. All right. In here we've got some extra stuff, you know, the mic cables, twist lock, XLR stuff, some spare audio, mono, stereo, RCA cables. This is our sound meter. We only use it at one site, but we are very diligent about using it there. And then these are various antenna wires and fittings and cables for the UHF, BNC, and SMA. This is a clipboard for our sound worker, and then this is a binder for our safety steward. So it's got all the safety incident forms and stuff in there. So that's it. That's our timing and scoring trailer. That's how we do it. Oh well, I guess we got the other odds and ends out here. So the big compressor there, it'll wheel right up into the center, and we don't even have to strap it down. It's heavy, it doesn't move, so it just wheels straight in there. And we have our 2 cone carts. These are just your basic hardware store lawn carts. I just made kind of a frame out of them to allow us to stack the cones 2 high and 2 wide, and it holds 40 some odd cones on each tier, so it's 160 cones per cart, something like that. Which fully loaded is quite a handful for one person to push inside that trailer, which I'm going to have to do here in a minute because I don't have any help. I'm just here doing this by myself today. And once those are in, they'll be strapped in the forward position. Behind that, our cooler will kind of tuck under the cones that stick out in this direction. And then we have our giant tote with our trophies in it which right now it's the beginning of the year, so we have a lot of trophies, kind of busting at the gills with trophies. So eventually the lid will sit down on that and it'll be able to close. But it's the last thing that goes in, because the last thing you do at the end of the day is give out your trophies. For us, usually it's get the cone carts loaded. Once the cone carts are loaded, we do the trophies and then sliding the cooler in there. People can grab the last of the cold waters, and then we shove our trophies in, and away we go, off to the next event. So that's it. Kentucky Region SCCA. This is our timing trailer. Put a lot of work into it myself. I said we leaned heavily on the national office design initially, and it was a good starting point. Certainly learned a lot. A few things I would have changed. Also, you'll notice our D-rings are down through the middle of the floor. Initially we used those you know, tow behind carts for our cones, which were big and heavy and a pain in the butt. And then we had smaller generators that we strapped down in the middle there, and so those D-rings don't really do anything anymore. So if I had it to do over again, the D-rings are useless. A lot of the 110 on the outside is useless. At least one on each side up top could absolutely go away. The ones in the back, maybe there's an argument for keeping those, maybe. And then, gosh, you know, would have had the audio moved to the other side of the trailer, because relocating that was a real joy, having to pull down the ceiling panels and reroute the wire, so that the audio would come out on that side instead of that side. But otherwise, yeah, real happy with it. Our flooring, again, this is 10 years old. The flooring is definitely showing its age. It's been a rough 10 years for this flooring, but surprisingly it's still kind of intact. So you know, it might be on the list of improvements in the next couple of years, but for a 10-year-old trailer, I think we're doing pretty good. So all right, hopefully I don't know, say if you're one of our people, maybe you learned a little something about how our trailer gets packed and stored. And if you're in another region, I don't know, maybe you got some ideas. I said I tried to get ideas where I could when building out our trailer. It was actually it was a Florida area that had their trailer just had sort of boxes built where they'd stack the cones and various stuff. It was kind of what birthed the idea for doing these build outs. And then the rest of this stuff, really, it was just trying to get passive first order retrieval out of as much stuff as possible. You know, once you get it opened, most everything just kind of is passively stored. You know, the glasses, we don't want them falling down, so we've got them bungeed to death and back. But everything else here, you know, there's a lip, so nothing's coming off of that shelf. And the same thing goes for everything in here. There's a lip, nothing's coming off of that, nothing's coming off of that. I use the soft close drawer guides because they kind of lock in the closed position. So that was money well spent in my mind. And again, you know, just a little lip there to keep everything in place, so that's not going to go anywhere unless I, you know, physically take it out of there. And like I said, I haven't put a lot of miles on it with this configuration, but I don't know, probably what is it, 60 miles or something to the one site and back, you know, 60 miles each way. So it's seen some miles in this configuration. And our other site is about 100 miles away, and it's, you know, that was before I did this particular cabinet, but everything else is basically the same, other than, like I said, moved some stuff around, and there was a smaller cabinet on this side that used to have the audio equipment. So, all right, peace.